I would like to introduce Mr. Sridhar Chitta. Sridhar Chitta is a retired professor of electronics and communication engineering and have served for several years in industries in India, Middle East, and Canada. When discussing spiritual matters with friends and colleagues, he noted their lack of awareness of the spiritual context of daily worship and felt a strong desire to write a book that discusses the connection. Sri Aurobindo's scholarly interpretation of Veds and Upanishads made a deep impression on him and led him to explore the spiritual significance of sahasranaamas and sthothrams of Hindu devtas. After spending more than 5 years researching and listening to a few hundred discourses, he began writing The Knowledge in the Vedas in 2018. He presently resides in Hyderabad, India, and continues to explore spirituality. He has also authored Fundamentals of Electric Theory and Circuit, marketed by Willy India. We welcome you to this grand book launch, sir. Your presence has graced us. I request you to please share a few words.
Thank you, Rita, for those introductory words about my book. So first, let me offer my pranams to my parents with utmost humility, and also Sri Aurobindo, the yogic seer who I have never met. Now, the light thrown by Sri Aurobindo is very rational and realistic, and the result is, in the end, it is this work which I have to offer. I'm very thankful to the publisher for my participation in this event. And I would like to say that my intense study of Sri Aurobindo's work and the discussions by Vladimir and Sri Shanmukha Sarma and interactions with the Sri VSR Murthy helped me to find a connection between rituals, prayers, and the reality. This was something which I thought was missing. And most people I spoke to, there seemed to be a disconnect between the daily rituals that they practice and the spiritual reality itself. Very few of them seem to know exactly the connection between the two. So I felt strongly the urge to write about this and prepared a framework for the same thing. So at the end of studying Sri Aurobindo's works, listening to several discourses by learned Pandits in Telugu, I have put all my thoughts across in this book, in which I have mixed the two and shown how they all point towards one reality. So I hope I have done justice to this, and Sri VSR Murthy, who is there with us today, he will also expand on this particular aspect. And I think that will be illuminating to all of us who are present on this occasion of the launch of my book, The Knowledge in the Vedas. Thank you very much, Rita.
Thank you, sir, and many, many congratulations. I request my team to unveil the cover of The Knowledge in the Vedas. The book explores the relationship between the divine reality and the ritualistic worship practiced by Hindus. The first also describes the Vedic and Sankhya traditions, which are frameworks for the knowledge embodying creation. In the following three chapters, discussions of the origins of Vedas and the evolution of Vedic auxiliary texts are provided. In most Hindi households, worshippers seldom discuss the spiritual significance of mantras and sthothrams, making it appear that the god they worship are different from reality. The fifth and following chapters are interpretations of the Lalitha and Vishnu sahasranaamas, Ganapathi Vaibhavam, Sri Rudra and Gajendra Moksham, including their spiritual context. I would like to call our guest of honor, Sri VSR Murthy sir. He has delivered talks in thousands of satsangs for over 46 years all over the world and India. He had his first darshan of Sri Satya Sai Baba in 1962 at the age of 12. Sri Satya Sai Baba blessed him as a spiritual scientist when Sri Murti was 18 years of age. His association with Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba spanned decades, and Sri Murthy's talks are laced with the wisdom of Bhagwan's sayings. Sri Murthy has authored 30 books on spirituality and participates in TV channel programs regularly, in which he has provided exquisitely illuminating insights on spiritual topics inspired by his rich practical life experiences, scientific temperament, and scriptural studies. He obtained Vidya from the writings of Adi Sankara and Ramana Maharishi and from interactions with Jilela Mudi Amma. Sri Murthy adores Sri Aurobindo and says, I owe it to Dr. V.K. Gokak, the Gyanpith awardee and recipient of Padma Shri, for urging me when I was 26 years of age to read the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. The spiritual insights I gained heightened my ability to think with reason and sensibility at the metaphysical level. It is indeed an honor for us to have him in our midst of the momentous occasion of releasing Sri Sridhar Chitta's book, The Knowledge in the Vedas, requesting you to share few words and grace our audience.
Yeah, thank you very much for providing me with an opportunity to be with all of you this evening and to get acquainted with the budding and accomplished authors of various subjects. I confine to the book, The Knowledge in Vedas by Sridhar Chitta. Any subject has to be understood and explained at three levels, the first being the physical, then metaphysical, and finally the spiritual. The book is written with an intention to enthuse and encourage the novice and spiritual parlance to get into the realms of truth and spirituality. Especially, Sridhar Chitta has done this with a lot of, I say, indomitable courage. Attempt is very courageous, but accomplishment is with ease and poise, with very precision. That is one. Second, science and spirituality are really complementary to each other. Here, the first part he has dealt with the Vedas, really explained and expounded very elaborately and exhaustively by Sri Aurobindo. That gives a very rational aspect of the whole subject. Otherwise, it remains mystic. But he could break this, and I'm sure the reader will be benefited immensely by going through the book and reading between the lines to understand the very core of the subject. Second, the namas, the names of Lalitha and Vishnu, they are confined to mere chanting as a routine. But here he has taken all the pains to explain the very meaning, that is virtual meaning, then verbal meaning, then a small commentary on each name and the efficacy of the name at physical level and also at mental level. The third being, he has provided a beautiful dictionary at the end to assist the reader not to get confused with the words that are used in a high-flown language or in Vedantic parlance. That will really help the reader to go through the book with a lot of interest and all. The 624 pages after the book is published, it's a wonderful documentation, and it's a real tribute to the very school of thought of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Not that he has not touched upon the various schools of thought, but mainly the core being the rational and the realistic approach of Sri Aurobindo that has emanated through his own visions, his own spiritual practices, his own understanding, his own explanation of the Vedas. This book is indeed a great gift to the people who are on the threshold of believing and non-believing, number one, threshold of trying to get in touch with what is there in Vedas. People say there is nothing in Vedas, there is nothing in Puranas, but Sridhar Chitta has contributed a lot in bringing out the various facets of Vedic knowledge in simple terms, without using any high-flown language, and appropriate words, aptly used, adequately expressed. And I'm thrilled to read this book. It's a wonderful book, wonderful contribution. I congratulate the publishers. In these days of disbelief and real dismay, they have come forward to print the book and present to the world. Now the light is unto the world. From unto, now it is into the world. The world is poised very well to receive the absolute knowledge. Finally, such many more works are to come from Sridhar Chitta. It's my wish, because whatever is to be done, it is to be done very meticulously with a positive approach, so that our next generation, in fact, my next generation, will be immensely benefited, and they will come to know the very ethics and ethos of this great country called India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, it will be a great enlightenment for the generations to come. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to request Sridhar, sir. Sridhar, sir, I have a question for you. So much related to this, what we just discussed. So my question to you is, can we obtain moksha in this life? I mean, is it possible to attain moksha in this life?
Yes, it is possible. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, the answer is yes, it is possible. So it depends on the preparedness of the individual, the spiritual preparedness of the individual, and whether he has control over his passions and his senses and so on. I will ask Sri Murthy to expand a little on this, because he has observed many people and he has interacted with so many spiritual seers and gurus that he will provide the correct answer.
Yeah, moksha is not something that has to be achieved after we vacate this body, number one. Moksha is nothing but mohakshaya. When you get rid of the alignments, attunements, acclimatization with all that is manifest, moksha is impossible. When once you see the manifest world as unreal and challengeable, the word moksha is applicable. Moksha is nothing but mohakshaya. So you have to destroy all your desires, worldly desires, and rise higher and higher within. This is the different dimension to this moksha. But traditionally, moksha is considered to be a state or a place somewhere where the soul will be reaching and enjoying some fruits somewhere. But in Vedas, it is very explicitly explained. There is nothing beyond. Everything is now and here. In Sanskrit, it's called iham eva. Iham means here alone. Whatever you have to achieve, you have to achieve when you are conscious, fully conscious of what is happening around, and when you are totally engaged in all the worldly activities, yet untouched, unperturbed by the activities of the world. This is the real state of moksha. Yeah.
Yes, sir, absolutely. The higher sense, the higher awareness. Thank you, sir. Sridhar, sir, another question for you. It's been great to have your insights. Please unmute yourself. One question for you, sir.
Yeah. Can you
the
hear
question,
me?
Yes, sir. So the question is bhakti alone sufficient, or should one learn yogic practices or meditation to experience higher awareness?
The first few words, could you kindly repeat?
Yes. The question is bhakti is bhakti alone sufficient, or should we learn yogic practices or meditation to experience higher awareness?
Yeah.
Your
So this is
thoughts?
a question which I think many people who first venture onto the spiritual path, they look at different margas, and then they look at different paths in which people tell them so many different paths, and they get confused and they don't know. And then they think, if I go this way, will it happen? Will it not happen? No, these are always things which haunt them. And the answer is yes, bhakti alone can also give moksha, liberation. And the example is normally taken of there is a famous musician poet in Andhra Pradesh who is called Annamacharya, and there are many songs credited to him, composed by him on the gods. And he is one classic example of a person who attained moksha by mere bhakti alone. Sri Murthy is here with me, so he will just throw a little more light on that, because he feels that it needs a little elaboration.
Sure, I'll do that. We have three yogas: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. All these three constitute the confluence. Unfortunately, all over the world, these three are seen in different planes or altitudes. The fact remains, karma is like a bud, bhakti is like a flower, jnana is the ultimate fruit. So without bud, there is no flower, no blooming. Without a flower, there is no metamorphosis or transition at this level called the jnana. So karma, bhakti, and jnana. When once you reach the highest, the pinnacle of the bhakti, devotion level, you don't need any yogic practices. Yogic practices are not gymnastics. Yogic practices are entirely internal, confluencing the whole thing and experiencing at one level. When you reach the pinnacle of devotion or bhakti, that leads to jnana. That's all. That is the total awareness. That has nothing to do with moksha. Moksha is different. Universal, integrated, constant, consistent awareness is totally different. So these three are equally important. There is nothing less, nothing more. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. Very deep and meaningful.